Hey everyone, Ed from Nat Group Real Estate. Now what I wanted to talk to you about today was buyer activities and how I show that to people or sellers at a listing presentation. So one of my listing presentations, or part of my listing presentation, looks like this. And I'm going to show you what this basically means. So I've got a notepad in the back of my folder, and that is what it looks like. Hopefully you guys can see that. But, sorry, is that better? So I'll show you what that means. That is basically when I'm talking to an owner and talking about advertising and what they should do and how they should price it right. So basically my discussions start off like everyone else's, but we sit down at a table, I pull out that notepad and say, look, I've got to explain to you something about about buyers and buyer activities. So when someone says we don't really want to advertise until later, or we'll try this price and then adjust it later, I show them how much damage that does. And by that I mean two things. So first I show them this thing, which is that there is a pool of buyers, lots of buyers out there. And so there's always a pool of buyers. Regardless of how the market is, people are out there waiting, seeing what new stock comes on. So they've got two choices when they list a house. Either they can go on the market, so they can stick it up there at some higher price than they should, don't advertise it, don't take photos, whatever they want to do. That's what people want to put on the market. They usually stay there for ages, years, months. Or their choice is, if they really want to get sold, they can go in the market. And by in the market, I mean place their house price-wise and everything right there. So they can place it in the pool of buyers, price it correctly, advertise it properly, promote it properly, good photos, everything right. So the first time it hits the market, they are in it. They are surrounded by buyers. Rather than going on it, waiting forever, and then you've got this gap. And that gap is why a lot of people don't sell homes. The second thing I show them is this. So hopefully they start understanding that, and by drawing it, people understand it. So take a notepad, paper, and pen. Now the other thing I want to show them is the buyer wave. Everyone knows a buyer wave. As a real estate agent, we should know it. If you don't know it, bloody hell, start understanding it. The buyer wave goes like this. And most people who do auctions understand it. So here's the first day that you release a property, you've got it listed. As soon as you release it, your buyer inquiry sort of escalates and escalates and escalates. But after time, it starts dying down and it sort of just drizzles off for a long time, right? This period here, if you guys look at realestate.com, your domain stats, your own stats, your buyer inquiry levels, just the fact that when your phone rings and your inspections happen, they all happen at the start, don't they? And it happens in this period here. For most people, that period is 4 weeks. So the first 4 weeks, when they expose the house, is the most vital. And that's there. So they have to get at this point, point one, when they list it with you, they have to get the pricing right. They have to get the photos right. They've got to get videos. They've got to get the copy right. They've got to get the upgrades on the internet. You need everything possible to sell that house, because you only have 4 weeks really to expose it to everyone that's in that pool of buyers. Remember that pool of buyers I was talking about? So when you're in there, you've got 4 weeks to target those people. That's why a lot of auction campaigns happen on the 5th week. So they happen somewhere around there, because you've exposed it to basically everyone you possibly can in 4 weeks, and then you auction it. So there's not much difference. Auction, private treaty, the same concept applies. The buyers are exactly the same buyers. It's just that you guys need to understand how the market works. But we have to show that to the owners. And I draw this graph. Now I say, one of them said today, how about we just try it with whatever price, which the price is okay, but don't really do an all of advertising, and advertise it later on when, if nothing happens. Problem is, you do that, you lose this. So really, what that person's graph would look like, their exposure to the market might actually be, I'll grab another color, their exposure when they don't want to do any of that won't actually be massive. It might go like this a little bit and then just drizzle off as well and do that. So they're not going to really be exposing it much, because the photos aren't right, the advertising isn't right, the videos aren't there, the signs are small. You know what I mean, don't you? That it's just not the correct way of exposing it. Now, it's too late. If that person there then says, oh, I'll kick in the advertising after 4 weeks because it's not working, what they have to do at this point here, when the 4th weeks happen, is even if they spend, say, thousands on advertising, it might create a little ripple and go up and then go back down. That might only last for a week. And then it's going to go back down here. The only way they can actually get that effect there and get that massive exposure again is, and I tell the owners this, the only way they're going to do it is not only spend the same amount on advertising, but at that point to try to increase it a little bit, but they're also going to have to do a massive price drop. So there's going to be two things. Huge price drop to replace that property somewhere, and a massive advertising campaign, so they can probably get that to maybe go a little bit further up and down. When you draw that, they start understanding that the first 4 weeks is crucial, and if they don't sell in the first 4 weeks, that's pretty much a big chance of their selling gone. But more importantly is that they have to do it correctly, they've got to price it right, and you might even get auctions out of it because you start explaining that. But they understand that they've got to do everything right from the start. And that is what you want. And when they see that, they understand that the offers that they get in this first 4 weeks are probably going to be the best offers that they can possibly ever get throughout the entire campaign. So that will help you get offers accepted, and more importantly, it makes them understand what the market's like. Because a lot of them don't understand, like the people I just went to do a listing presentation on didn't really grasp the concept of it, and then they go, wow, there's actually a lot involved. And when they said, let's dissect the advertising and just cut it down a bit, I said, we can, but then the video affects the social media, it then affects the YouTube stuff and how it links into the sign, the QR codes. And if you don't do the sign, then you miss out on the QR code. There's no one that's going to look at the videos because it's not online. So our whole marketing package, which we call a Get It Sold package, is everything's intertwined. You can't really take it apart because it's a package. You take it apart, the whole thing sort of breaks off. So I try to sell everything in packages, but that is what you guys should be doing at listing presentations. Show them that, teach them that. You probably spend more time doing that than talking about the house, and you'll find that your advertising and your pricing are going to be spot on, and then you've got a sellable listing, and that's money in the bank for you, and more importantly, it gets their house sold, and you're doing your job as a real estate agent. Because let's face it, we get paid more than most doctors do for surgeries, and all we do is sell homes, if we think about it, right? So get that, get yourself a piece of paper, put it in your listing presentation kit, sit down and do that. Hope that helps you out. Smash them. Go get them.